So now I'm at the point of basically slapping the textures on this thing, throwing all the assets in the same blend file, and then recreating the floor plan, and potentially some texture editing, and then away we go. I'll be mapping out their entire area on stream, so it's most likely that the next part you'll see will feature a more developed Truelab with some assets scattered around the floor space. Until then, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye! Hello everyone and welcome back. So, this is day 2's update, which has come out a little bit late, primarily because I did so much. So, to detail everything, let's get into what happened. After I did the video, I pushed all night to try and get this done as quickly as possible, but with a pretty high quality to it, primarily because I don't want to go sort of half in on this effort-wise. I want to make it look as good as I can, obviously. So, when I left off, I'd just done the generator and the DT machine. And, yeah, then I just decided to block out the entire area and unwrap it. So we were left with the base for which we could work from. It had a lot of textures on it. I'd even done the skirting and the floor. And more or less, I was up to the point of just getting the scenery done, as you can see here. I did a lot of it on stream as well. The same day, people came in to have a look and see how it was going. And I'm really happy for it. I got a load of scenery placed, so we were looking at very minor scenery by the end of this. If I just skip through here, we were up to the point where we were including mirrors, we'd included the beds and everything, and made it look a little bit more like a sort of like a weird sciencey morgue hospital kind of splice. And the funny thing is, it's like when I think about it, that's more or less what the Truelab is. It's a weird area in which monsters are experimented on with determination. And yeah, it was kind of weird, like looking and trying to make out some of the assets that were in sprite work, and then figure out what they actually were in 3D. And then when I was constantly finding out what they actually were, like the beds that I'd placed, that I'd put as stretcher beds from like a hospital, I actually found out those were supposed to be operating beds, which kind of made everything a little bit more ominous, is the best way of putting it, I think. Either way, you know, after going through all of this, we got the lab up to a point where most of the assets were done. And that took about 3 hours or so. Mainly, again, just talking to people on stream, sourcing the assets like you can see here. If you want to watch all of this and how it came together, then the video is still up here. I'm showing you, obviously, my channel and the name of the video. And I'll even put a link in the description for the sake of it. But by the end, we'd finished, we'd got the mirrors working. So, we were up to the point of getting other bits of scenery put in here, and almost the lighting. So, I kind of left it for a bit. But the funny thing is, I can't just leave this stuff alone for very long. So, I ended up doing a little bit more later on, and it went on throughout the evening. I ended up doing little details. We're all going to see this in wireframe and a little bit of temporary lighting here, but I also started doing the wires on the walls that you can see in the actual sprite work, although here it looks like I may have not booleaned this. I swear I had this positioned properly. It may have been moved previously. Had a little bit of problems with Blender in the sense that I pressed the button by accident and I didn't know which one I'd pressed, so it started messing around with the model, so we'll just fix that there. I'll just quickly hit save. So we started doing some of the pipe work. I also got the plants from the Source Filmmaker version that I was using for reference, because I'd also used the monitors from that. So I got the plants from the Source Filmmaker version and stuck them in. We re-UV mapped the floor because we edited some of it as well. I put the dog bowl in, as you can see in wireframe here. It's just there in the bedroom. We, on stream, did the beds to basically look a lot more closer to what they have, but they're not the comfy beds, they're the hospital beds. It makes it a little bit more ominous, but it kind of fits with the atmosphere. I like the way that those look. And I even, just gone through a wall there, I even put the clock on the wall from the Source Filmmaker version. There's the mirrors, which when you put them in full render mode and have lights, they actually reflect in real time. So I just need to put like a grimy texture over the top of them and make them just a little bit less reflective. But then we started adding the other details that I needed. I started off again with the generator room. So in the generator room, we have all these new pipes now, because in a lot of the sprite work that's done by Temmie and everybody else, you can see pipes coming out of the walls in certain parts of the lab and going up the stairs. So I've continued that detail as well and made the pipes come up and around the walls in the generator room, and then they go up through the ceiling to God knows where. So I'm going to have to put more piping around the area. I think that'll definitely lend to the sort of strange atmosphere that we have going on. I then went to the portion of the lab that I'd made with Alphys, which I showed off on one of my other streams, and I got the fridge from there, so we now have the fridge item set up in the cold area, and above that I extruded the roof and put these fans in. These fans are very basic. I modeled them myself, because I couldn't find any assets, so I just decided I would model them. Oh, camera keeps messing up on me here. So these fans, they're going to be animated. Each blade is separated, or rather each rotating part is separated so I can animate. That's going to be pretty easy. The actual texture for them is a simple shader that I just threw a cloud mask on, just to give a little bit of wear and tear. I'm not going to have too much lighting on them when they're going, so it's not going to be too bad. It's going to have a little bit more atmospherics as well, so it's going to make up for the lack of texture on them at the moment. I could go in there, admittedly, and just unwrap them. I might do it at a later date, depending on how I feel. But of course, now we're up to the stage where I need to flesh things out a little bit more, because I've changed the height of the roof in certain areas to make them slightly bigger to fit the fans in. I need to re-UV map the walls. Basically, when I talk about UV mapping, that means just getting the textures to look correct so they don't look stretched. Next to the DT machine, I raised the ceiling a little bit. I may lower the floor with the pit in it so that I can make that look bigger, but I'm going to put atmospherics in there and some lights as well to make it look all spooky. We got a TV and a VCR machine in the VHS room. That's going to be good because I've put a reflective surface on the front of the screen as well, and I can make that play videos. So that's one of the other ideas I had for later on. And then, of course, we've got the fan room over here, which has a massive wall of fans. But, of course, as you can see, the textures have messed up. So I'm going to need to, again, re-UV the walls and part of the floor. This isn't too bad. This is very minor stuff. Stuff that I still need to do includes the colored switches that are found around the location, the fan switch, which is in this room. I need to get the snack machine. I need to retexture the elevator, and then I need to put the shower or bath with a curtain in it. And then what I'm going to do in the DT machine area is I'm going to put floor lights down. They're those small circular lights that you see sometimes in like different locations. I'm going to put them dotted around this area, as well as actually putting the extra floor in here so that you can get across to read the entry here. But yeah, the idea is to have the atmospherics be shining light on the skull and making it look all spooky and everything. And then after that, it's just lighting, and then I'm done. So I think by the end of day 3, which is today, by the end of day 3, I'm going to have a lot more of this done. I at least want more pipes done. I want the main points for me to hit today for progress, because I've already made massive amounts of progress in the past 2 days. I want to get the unwrapping done. I want to get most, if not all, of the scenery placed. The lift I want in there, because it's a main part of the scenery. And then we'll go from there. So this should be, in about 3 to 4 days, all set up for animation, and then away we go, because I don't want to hold off on the animation for too long. I've also just realized at the end of this that I'm going to need the other lift here that comes down from the lab. So that's no problem. I can throw that together with the other lift pretty quickly, I think. Either way, it's looking good. I may put some like trash, like I was saying, in here as well, like some small trash bits of scenery all over the place. We'll have to see. But either way, we're really close already. It's been a non-stop sort of affair to get here so far, and I really like the way that even when I put like very minimal lighting in these areas just to test them, it looks really good. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about the mirrors working and everything looking pretty accurate how you would expect it to. It's pretty faithful to the on-screen counterpart, its sprite version. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. That's an update, and tomorrow I may come back with the day 3 update. Like I said, I'm a little bit behind, primarily because of me doing this through streams. But yeah, I should come back with more progress that I've talked about in this video. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!